So I want to take the opportunity today. I had a lot of questions here on Instagram, like here, 33 questions. And with the last Q&A session I did, there's also another one on my channel, Learn Data Engineering, active right now. So follow Learn Data Engineering here. Let me show you. Here. That's my Learn Data Engineering channel. You see me here. And yeah, give me a follow there. I always do these Q&A sessions on Insta where I post a story and then just ask me a question about data engineering. So as I said last time, I had 33 questions and I want to go through a few of them today and yeah, show and hopefully help you a bit, because very often these questions people ask the same things multiple times. And yeah, so let me quickly get back to now I went somewhere else. Okay, so the first question here was, what is the future of data engineering? Can generative AI be an add-on to data engineering? So we all know generative AI, big thing. Most of you, most of us have used ChatGPT, but for us data engineers, I think as well it's a very important tool in the future. Right now, maybe not. Right now, I use it sometimes to, if I want to have a template for something, then I get a template out of ChatGPT. I use this, ask, okay, I need a template for this kind of Python code, then it's going to deliver me this code. But in the future, I think there are tools for us engineers that will help us understand data sets, not the structure, understand the content of the data sets, and understand how to, or make it easier to create the code or create the processing for it. Like a bit like autopilot for us engineers, for the simpler things, the simpler jobs. So I think that's one of the ways where it's going to go. It's going to be an add-on for us for specific tools, or to use it as another tool in our belt to make us more efficient. Right? So that's I think that's where this is going, especially for data integration tools. This kind of generative AI can be very helpful. Is this sharp here? Yeah. If you have more, put them also in the chat here. I can take questions here in the chat, and yeah, can go through this with and answer your questions. So then the next question, what else did we have? We had the question, BI platform, what's the best Azure SDK for creating the API, data integration, storage, Viz, and so on? Well, the best Azure SDKs. Difficult. So I'm not the Azure Pro. Yes, we have an Azure course in the academy, but I didn't create this. What I saw Christian use for, let's say, SDK for creating resources and so on, he used add-ons for how's it called? For VS Code. So I know there are integrations for VS Code for Azure to easily, for instance, easily host functions there and create and then push functions to production. So that is something I know that works. Beyond that, I don't know. I maybe someone of you has ideas about that, but for me, that's the main thing that I know. You can use VS Code and Azure integration or Azure extensions for this. How to learn data engineering as a beginner? That's a question I get all the time. I'm also going to do live streams. Most likely I'm going to be back tomorrow. I actually want to do this. I have many live streams ideas. One of the ideas, and I want to go through with this, is to show the path for data engineering or to become a data engineer. The problem with this is it's not super easy because it depends a lot where you're coming from, right? The path for a data analyst is different than the path for a data, not data engineer. The path for a data analyst is different than the path for a software developer. The path for a software developer is different than the path for a database developer, right? So there are different paths that we need to take, and I actually want to build this with you. I don't have this prepared right now, but in one of the next streams, I want to get into this. I want to draw this out from the different direction. Sandeep here, one harness AI and data engineering. We were talking about this just before. Will AI replace data engineers anytime soon? No. The thing is, good data engineers do more than just simple code or simple take data here and put it to there. We're also doing architecture, we're doing data modeling, and so on and so on. So it's not easy to replace a good data engineer. Also, from the aspect of fixing problems, doing optimization, it's not something you can simply do with or use AI, generative AI or other AI. The thing is, and I'm looking forward to this, is that this is going to help us make our job easier, to take the simple stuff that nobody wants to do, automate this, and then focus on the higher, more. Is this called high level? I think high level is the wrong thing. The more detailed work, the more difficult work, and have the mundane stuff. Let's have AI handle this. So that's a roadmap. Learn as a beginner. As a beginner, if you want to learn data engineering, you need two things. You need to have knowledge in Python, and you need to have knowledge in relational databases, SQL as well, the query language, right? This is the basis that you need to start. As an analyst, yes, you can start with not so much coding knowledge, but at some point you need to be able to code. So that's my tip. Look into basic Python and look into relational databases and SQL queries. That's the thing. It's pretty simple. Can we expect a course on data engineering harnessing LLM models? Yes, we're going to deliver something in the academy. I haven't specified what though. Right now, my plan for the academy goes until end of March. We're going to deliver 2 courses on data modeling. One I'm cutting in the other room, not right now because I'm here, but I have been cutting this morning in the other room, editing it. And so on relational data models, on dimensional data models, and one on architecture. And also, I think LLM could be very interesting this year. So we're going to do something there. Yep, absolutely. More technical. Databricks pointed question: what are your thoughts around using the Databricks DLT framework for batch processing? No, I have no idea. I'm not that deep into Databricks. When I did my course with Databricks, it was more the how to get data in, how to process data, and how to write data out, and use the data catalog there, and basically work with data on Azure. But I'm not sure what the DLT framework is. Is that something new? Don't know. Then there was a question: where can I learn how to build a data pipeline? So the thing is, a data pipeline, basically, that's multiple parts of processing, or multiple steps of going from the raw data or the data coming in into the data having it in a destination, right? And I would start with this very simple, have a very simple Python job, Python program, then use a file as a source, use a file as a destination. Very simple, right? And then I would add more and more things to it. You could bring this to the cloud, right? Do this on AWS, GCP, or whatever. Then add a database as the destination. Then you have a file, a process, a database. Then you could say, okay, I'm replacing the file that I have. I'm replacing this with a API that's coming where the data is getting sent in. Have the API. Then the processing as a function again. The API starts the function. Then the data gets written to the database. Like these simple things I would start, and then make it step by step, gradually more complex. That's something that is very important. So much for that. What else did we have? The difference between a data person and a product management person. Ooh, that is that is a difficult topic. You know, you have to always think about product management. Product management sits or the other way around. Okay, let me explain it like this. We have data, right? And we're going, as engineers, we're processing data. As I've said before, we have some source, we do a bunch of processing, a data pipeline, then it gets into a destination. And that is not the whole thing, right? The whole thing is then on top of that is the reason why we do this. And that's usually a data product. Something that delivers value to a customer or to a business person within the company. And that is the product. So the product manager is in charge of basically delivering that feature, that product to the customers. Right? That's, when you think about it, that's the only thing that the product manager needs to do. Of course, needs to make sure that this works. So he needs to talk with the development and make sure that the development actually does what is needed to deliver the product and understands the specifications. And so it's a back and forth between the product team and the development team, or the product manager and the development team. Of course, there's always friction there, because very often the product manager thinks something is super easy, and then comes the development team and it's actually super hard. There are things like that needs to cost that amount of money, but if you then realize it, it's the pipeline and the processing and everything is going to be a lot more expensive. Then you again have the friction and you need to figure out a good solution together. So it's a together, it's a working together. Of course, we as the engineers look at the data teams look at the data, look at the processing, at the platform, but we're not ultimately responsible for delivering that product to the customer. That's the product manager, the product management. So that's how this fits together. And hopefully these two understand each other. The lead of the data team understands that the goals and the objectives of that the manager has, the product manager has, and the product manager understands a bit what's needed from the data team and how they work and so on. Source for data modeling. Wow, these questions. What's the source for data? I don't know. Data modeling, again, data modeling is a super important topic, because every data store is different, right? You're not always going to have a relational database. You're also going to have stuff in the data lake. You're going to have NoSQL databases, document stores, key value stores, wide column stores, and stuff like that. So it's important to have a good data model, because also the data model needs to provide, and let's come back to the product management we've been talking about. Product management is responsible for the product, for delivering the product to the customer. The data model then needs to enable that functionality, right? You have within the product management certain functionality that you need to deliver, and the data team then actually through the data model, now I think you quickly need to look back what was the question. Through the data model, the data team actually needs to then give the customer that value or that feature, right? Because if you mess that up, either it doesn't work or it works very slow, or because you used the wrong database and did the wrong data model. It's very quickly can very easily happen. Can you help me redesign my resume? Was another question. In my academy, I offer this to students. Like, you have a resume? Great, let's go through this. And I've given a lot of students tips on their resume. Usually how we do this is they create a document on Google Drive, on their Google Drive. Then they share the document with me, and I or someone from the team is going in and we document or we comment, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this do this. So, and it was very helpful for many students before. And that's where I do this. Otherwise, I don't have time for this, unfortunately, anymore to help individuals throughout the day with their resume. How to create a data pipeline. We were talking about this. Necessary tech stack for a data engineer. So as a data engineer, you always have to think of, okay, how's the data platform looking like, right? You have on one side some data ingestion or some data integration tools, right? Maybe you have an API, or you have something like what's a good data integration tool? What's a good data integration tool? I'm blanking here right now. Azure Data Factory, I think, is one of the tools where you could do some data integration. There are also many other either open source or closed source tools. So that's on the one side. How to get the data in? You need Fivetran. Yes, indeed. Thanks. Fivetran is one of these. We're talking about how to create a course on Fivetran because it's so many people use it. NiFi, yes, but I feel like NiFi is nobody cares anymore. Where was I? Okay, then you have the data in. Then you should understand how the data lake works, how to work with data catalogs. You need some kind of processing framework, right? This could be either something with Python, where you have like serverless functions, or you look into something like Spark or Flink, where you have stream processing frameworks or parallel processing frameworks. It's good to have knowledge in relational databases, as I said, and also in NoSQL databases, as well as data warehouses, right? Because not always are you delivering the value directly to the customer. You're very often delivering the data for internal teams who are doing data analysis on the data warehouse or on the lake house with the data in the data lake. So that's something very important. Visualization, I feel like that's not super important, but like regarding a tech stack, if you're on Amazon, there are tools on AWS for this. If you're on Azure, you could also look into tools for this on Azure. So if you want to make your life a bit easier, look into a platform and look into what tools can I use for that specific platform to do data integration. Then there was a question about Substack. If I have a Substack, and yes, I have a Substack. actually. There's going to be coming another post this week. And I'm going to post this in YouTube here. Let me share the screen. Here, the Substack, I called it the Data Engineering Insider, where I post information about data engineering, and we're going to roll this out very big. We're going to bring out a lot of new stuff in there next month. Starting next month, we're going to have a lot of stuff in there. Right now, I don't even know how many. Can you somewhere see how many people already subscribed to it? I don't think so, right? Can you see this somewhere? Oh no, that leads to the academy. Don't know. Yeah. So where was I? More questions. So Substack, you can give. I posted a link in YouTube. You can see the link. In LinkedIn, the links don't work. So yeah, that's how it is. So take a look at that. And who's another good question here? After many studies, I still don't find any courage I can make as data science project by my own. After what's that? Sometimes the bad English is difficult. So if you have worked a lot and you still don't have the courage of building your own projects and building your own pipelines, it's a difficult topic, yes. The thing is, you learn with data engineering, you learn by doing, right? That's the thing. You need to jump in the cold water and you need to do your best. It's not like you study this and then that's it. And that for me, with the academy, I always try to teach the fundamentals and teach you the basics of how to create a platform, or show you the tools, how the tools fit together. From there on out, you need to do it yourself. It's like, I mean, like in the academy, in the AWS course, I show you how to build a batch and how to build a stream pipeline. All the tools that you need, and then you can use it. Now, of course, if you're going to go out and you're going to work at a company, the requirements are different. The data is going to be different. That's how it is. You just need to do it. Let's jump in the cold water. It makes no sense. You only get better with this by doing. That's the thing. A data science bootcamp worth it? I'm a software engineer, want to transition to data science. Well, if you like these sort of things, like bootcamps, why not? I'm depending on how large the boot camp is, I always feel like if it's a super large boot camp with a lot of people joining it, how much personal help can you get in this? Right? How much? Most likely not a lot. That's why I'm more a fan of coaching. So that's why I, for instance, do my Turbo Mentors coaching to people to one-on-one help them on their journey to become a teacher, to become to teach their data engineering skills, and as a freelancer, for instance. So that's because I think, would I need to be able to do this as a large bootcamp? Maybe. Would that make sense for people? Maybe not. So yeah. Is Elasticsearch suited for massive volume of data? Well, Elasticsearch can handle a lot of data. Elasticsearch is also a very cool tool. Yeah, the thing is, you need to, with the indexing, the data needs to fit to Elasticsearch, right? So take that in mind. Also, I think it's, if you host this large scale, it's not going to be cheap. And the question is always, do you really need it? Do you really need a search engine? Or do you need something else? So, but Elasticsearch, yeah, that can handle a lot of data. A lot of data. I'm ready for data engineering job. Any suggestions? Apply to companies. It's very important that you apply to companies as much as possible. Of course, you're going to get a negative feedback. You get turned down, but apply. Also on the side, do personal projects, document those personal projects. You can do a lot. As a very simple pipelines. Do something streaming, do something batch processing, do something with a OLTP, a transactional database, something with OLAP, an analytical store, like a data warehouse, and have this documented. Put this on your CV, and then just apply. Go to interviews. Apply. Go to interviews. The thing is, nowadays there are so many applicants. You just need to power through this and don't give up. You're going to make it. What's your thought on Click Compose? Is that going to be used more? Used in more companies? Click. I haven't used Click. I think a long time ago. So I can comment on this. I think the biggest competitor is is Power BI, right? And yeah, if you're a competitor to Power BI, it's very difficult because a lot of companies are already on the Microsoft train. They already have everything from Microsoft, and so naturally they are going to, and let's say they are already on Azure and so on. They most likely are also going to go for Power BI. So I don't know. I think Tableau and Click, they have a very difficult standing right now. I need some project ideas. I've never done anything on my own end to end, always Googling. That's the thing. So let me share this. So what I've done, what we have in the academy. In the academy, I have many projects here. I always forget to show you the mouse cursor. No. We have many things where you can start end-to-end projects. Right? AWS, Azure, GCP, something with data, modern data warehousing, storing, visualizing time series data. I have a very nice contact tracing project, and so on and so on. Here's some Dockerized ETL. I'm not saying you need to join the academy and to do these projects. You can also go on our website and you can go on all courses and then look at, let's say you look at the document streaming project, right? I have the complete setup, how this looks. I have this here. You could go in, replicate exactly this without even joining the academy. Like, look at this, try to build this on your own. Of course, it will take you a lot longer than going through the academy courses, but like, you can use these things to get some ideas. I highly recommend that. So it's not super difficult. I want to be a data engineer specialized in Azure platform. Does your course or your academy cover all Azure? No, we're not covering everything from Azure. We have some tools from Azure. We build a streaming pipeline with Azure. Um, Maybe there's going to come more with Azure. It's like I'm always I'm struggling a bit with Azure myself personally. Do you have to have years of experience in software analyst before you jump into data engineering? Software or do you have to have years of experience as a software developer or analyst before you jump into data engineering? Of course, having uh, a bit of knowledge or a bit of experience in both, either as a software developer or as an analyst, is helpful, especially for software developers, because we usually in our training in school we learn about coding, we learn about relational databases. So for that, it's a lot simpler. We also know the basics of networking and so basic data or computer networking and so on. So it's as a software engineer it's easier, but you can also as an analyst very easily jump into data engineering. That's what I meant in the beginning. These are just you have a different path as an analyst, as somebody who's coming from the other side as software developer. You're going to start with different tools and go in different directions. But yeah, that's absolutely possible with only a bit of experience. I'm a data engineer with 1.4 years of experience. I have no significant growth. What path should I follow for consistent growth? So if you feel like you're not growing and you're working at a company, switch jobs. That's the main thing, I think, because the most you're going to learn at work, and you're going to be forced into new topics at work. So if you're at a job where you can't grow, I recommend start applying to other jobs. Mm, Someone I'm currently signed up in the academy. After the academy, could you please coach me? Right now I'm not doing personal coaching for students, so right now unfortunately not. Sorry. What about performance comparison with Spark when it's about working with on financial data? So, sorry. Let me answer this way. Um, the thing is always with performance comparisons or benchmarks is that people try to use data sets that are, let's call it, favorable for the outcome of the benchmark, right? So what you should do in this case is that you should go in and you should actually benchmark this on your own. That's the thing. Take that financial data in your company, figure out if Spark is the right solution, and then run benchmarks on it. That's at some point you need to do this. How do you see DBT for working on big data workload scenarios? I just started learning DBT. Super cool tool. We also have a DBT course in the academy. Very cool tool, especially in combination with something like Snowflake. Our course has Snowflake um, and DBT, and it's a really nice tool to transform data and basically create from the raw data in your warehouse, create bronze, silver, and gold tables, and give it to analysts the data. So super cool tool. I really like it. Very, very helpful. Very helpful. I like it. I just landed to data governance architecture. Any recommendations? DBT and Snowflake. Very funny. Yeah, a good combination. Yeah, as I said, like awesome combination. I would look into this. Really good. You can do a lot with these two. A lot of damage. People are very into Snowflake right now, and people are very into DBT still. Actually, I think last time when I did the trends, did I look at DBT? I can't remember. But yeah, that's something you should look at. So what else do we have? We have 3 questions left. What are some base components to make a good portfolio? ETL to data warehouse to BI or something else? Yeah, those have a portfolio, streaming pipeline, batch pipeline, use OLTP databases and OLAP databases, because then you need to create 2 different data models. A relational data models for your OLTP database, for instance, and a dimensional model for your data warehouse, for your OLAP data store. And then use a bit of streaming, maybe an API in one place to get the data in. And that's a very already, it's like you're above 95% of all the other applicants. And then put it on GitHub, document it in a very nice way in your README-MD, and then boom, add it to your CV and have people go directly to your portfolio. All right, that's so much for these questions. Do you have any resource recommendation for Spark, Flink, and Kafka? I mean, these are established tools, right? These are tools that there's a ton of content out there. Once you understand the basics, I think in 2019 or something, I did a video, 5 minutes video on YouTube, on my YouTube, about Kafka, how to set up Kafka. Like, these things are out there for a long time. Very often, even the documentation is great, and you can learn a lot from the documentation. So, except of Flink, I have in the academy with Spark and Kafka courses, and also projects that use those two. Yeah, it's not super difficult. Look into some documentation. Look into maybe a few YouTube videos, and then try it out yourself. The important part is always to try it out yourself. Just reading about it is not going to help you. You need to try it out yourself. You could even say, okay, it's too difficult for me to set it up. Use Docker. Set it up with Docker. Done. Boom. Very easy. You can very easily set up a Spark cluster. You can set up a Spark with Jupyter notebooks through Docker, and then train with it. Connect the notebooks with the Docker container with your local drive. Share files through that and process them. It's very easy to do. Very easy. So there's no specific resource that I recommend. It's just look a bit around and then try it out yourself. That's the main important thing. All right, we're already through these. Let me quickly see, because before the stream I posted more questions on I posted more questions. No? Do we have more questions? No. I posted another on Instagram, another asked me anything, but hasn't gotten any questions. Cloud Dealers here on YouTube. After 3 years of entrepreneurship with little to no clients, I have scored an interview tomorrow for data engineer role. Very nice. I'm innovative but lack experience. Don't worry. Any advice for having a good interview? Do a bit of research. Look a bit into the company itself. Look again into the into the job application, or no, how is it called? Into the job description, and try to connect this with what you have used before and what you know. And yeah, if you're in a situation where you don't know something, just say, I haven't used this, I don't know this yet, but most likely you have worked with something like a specific tool. You have worked with something else, and yeah, just use that. And then try to make some connections with knowledge that you already have, and then you'll be fine. Yeah, would be interesting to hear what kind of entrepreneurship you had. Like 3 years with almost no clients. Either you are terrible at getting clients and at marketing, or you were maybe doing the wrong things. I don't know. I don't know. But that would be interesting. What you mean there? Yeah, guys. Let's end for today. Tomorrow we are either going to look into 2 super interesting videos that I saw. One at Apache Spark Roadmap, and we're going to look into data engineering 2024. Or we're going to start with the data engineering roadmap, building this live here. Let's see. Okay, so much for this. I wish you all a great day, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye. And thanks for the awesome questions, by the way, also on Insta. If you want to ask more, either write a comment here on YouTube or go to my Instagram, Learn Data Engineering, and there's a Q&A right now available where you can just add your question, and I'm going to get back to you through a story on Instagram. Okay? See ya.